I never imagined that a family vacation meant to bring us closer would rip my world apart in the most humiliating way possible. But fate has a twisted sense of humor, and sometimes, it saves its most brutal punchline for the people who least expect it. My name is Mark Bennett, 38 years old, an orthopedic surgeon. I've spent the last decade fixing broken bones, never realizing the real fractures were happening in my own home. My wife, Jessica, 36, a marketing executive, always had a knack for selling dreams. I just never thought one of those dreams was the illusion of our happy marriage. We've been together for 14 years, married for 10, with 2 amazing kids, Liam, 8, and Sophia, 6. I believed we were solid, the kind of couple who bickered over thermostat settings but still fell asleep holding hands. So when Jessica suggested a luxurious getaway to the Bahamas, I thought, maybe she wants to rekindle the spark. It turns out, she just wanted to light a match and burn everything to the ground. Paradise or purgatory, the resort was breathtaking, pristine beaches, private bungalows, and staff that catered to our every whim. I planned to spend my days making sandcastles with the kids and my nights making love to my wife. Instead, I was about to witness the most soul-crushing betrayal of my life. From the moment we arrived, something felt off. Jessica was constantly on her phone, smiling at her screen like a teenager in love. I brushed it off, maybe she was just handling work emails. But then, I noticed other things. She took extra time getting ready, wore perfume to go check on the kids at the pool, and always seemed to vanish at suspicious moments. Still, I convinced myself I was overthinking. After all, we were in paradise. What could go wrong? The slip that ruined it all. On the 3rd night, we attended a private beachside dinner for families. Picture it: tiki torches, live music, the ocean kissing the shore. It was supposed to be romantic, a chance for us to reconnect. Halfway through dinner, Jessica excused herself, saying she needed to use the restroom. 5 minutes passed, then 10. I checked my phone, absent-mindedly scrolling, when a text notification popped up on Jessica's iPad, which was sitting right next to me. A name I didn't recognize. "Can't wait to feel you again tonight." Same place. My blood turned to ice. Heart pounding, I unlocked the iPad. It was wide open, no password, no attempt to hide anything. What I found made my stomach churn. Jessica had been sexting another man. Not just flirty messages, but graphic, raunchy, stomach-turning details about what they had done and what they planned to do next. And the worst part? She mentioned our son's name. Liam almost caught me sneaking out. He asked why mommy was dressed so nice at night. Ha ha. I gripped the table so hard my knuckles turned white. This wasn't just a betrayal, this was an affair unfolding right under my nose, while my children were feet away. The name that broke me. And then, I saw his name. Nathan Carter. My best friend since college, my best man at our wedding, my kid's Uncle Nate. I felt like I was drowning. Nathan was here. He had flown in separately, saying he was on a solo trip to clear his head. I had even invited him to join us for dinner earlier that week. I swallowed back the bile rising in my throat, and that's when I saw the final text. "Meet me in the spa after dinner. The sauna is empty at night. I want to taste you again." I stood up so fast my chair toppled over. Guests turned to stare. Jessica was still in the restroom, but I knew exactly where she was. I stormed out of the dinner area, my heartbeat a war drum in my chest, because if Jessica and Nathan thought they were about to have another secret rendezvous, they were about to have an audience instead. I moved like a man possessed. My blood was molten lava in my veins, my breath coming in sharp, ragged gasps. My wife, the woman I built a life with, was sneaking off to be with my best friend in a spa sauna like some cheap affair in a seedy motel. I wanted to vomit. I wanted to scream. But more than anything, I wanted to catch them in the act. Storming the spa. The resort spa was at the far end of the property, tucked away in a secluded area surrounded by lush palm trees. At night, it was eerily quiet. Most guests were either at the beachside bars or back in their private bungalows. I reached the main entrance, but the glass doors were locked. Figures. They probably closed the spa to the public, ensuring they had the whole damn place to themselves. But these idiots forgot one thing. I knew another way in. Earlier in the week, I had taken Liam and Sophia to the spa's juice bar, and I remembered seeing a side service door near the sauna entrance. It was for staff only, but at that moment, I didn't give a damn. I took a deep breath, wiped my sweaty palms on my shirt, and slipped around the back. The door was unlocked. The sounds that shattered me. I stepped inside, and immediately, the heavy humid air of the sauna area wrapped around me. The scent of eucalyptus and essential oils burned my nostrils. Then I heard it. Soft moans, whispers, Jessica's voice. God, you always know how to make me feel so good. Nathan's voice. You like that, baby? You missed me? My fists clenched so hard my nails dug into my palms. It took everything in me not to kick the door down and beat that bastard into the tile floor. Instead, I needed evidence. I pulled out my phone and hit record. Slowly, I crept toward the wooden door of the sauna. The small window was fogged up from the heat, but I could still make out their silhouettes inside. Jessica was pressed up against the wall, Nathan's hands all over her. Her wedding ring, the same one I had placed on her finger 10 years ago, was still on her damn hand as she touched him. A wave of pure rage washed over me, but I wasn't done yet. The ruined affair. I shoved the door open. The rush of hot air hit me like a punch, but nothing compared to the look of horror on Jessica's face when she saw me standing there. Her eyes went wide. Her jaw dropped. She let out a strangled gasp, scrambling to cover herself with a towel. Nathan? The pathetic bastard tripped over his own feet, nearly falling face first onto the sauna bench. I let the silence stretch. Let them writhe in their own filth. Then, I spoke. Don't stop on my account. Jessica's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. Nathan had the audacity to try and fix his towel before speaking. Mark, bro, I cut him off with a bark of laughter. Oh, don't bro me, Nate. I'm not your bro. My wife already has that covered, doesn't she? Jessica's eyes filled with tears. Fake. Crocodile. Tears. Mark. I can explain. I held up my still recording phone, flipping the screen toward them. Oh, you'll explain all right. To my lawyer. Jessica's face drained of color. Nathan went pale. I turned to him and stepped closer, towering over him. You were my best friend, I said, my voice deadly calm. You held my son at his baptism. You were there when I buried my father. And this is how you repay me? Nathan swallowed hard. Mark, it wasn't like that. It just happened. I laughed bitterly. It just happened? So what? You accidentally tripped and fell into my wife. That's what you're going with? Jessica sobbed. Please, Mark. It was a mistake. I was lonely. And lonely? I repeated, my voice dripping with venom. You weren't lonely when we were laughing with our kids on the beach. You weren't lonely when we made love just 2 nights ago. But suddenly, in a 5-star resort, with our children sleeping in the next room, you're lonely? She flinched. Good. You disgust me, I spat. Nathan opened his mouth, but I wasn't done. And you think I don't know how many times you've done this? Nathan froze. Jessica stiffened. And that's when I dropped the bombshell. The twist: the affair wasn't new. I pulled out my phone again, scrolling through a different set of messages. Emails. Hotel receipts. Fake business trip bookings. Jessica and Nathan had been doing this for 3 years. I had hired a private investigator 2 months ago, after my gut kept telling me something was off. I had a full dossier on their affair, but I never expected to catch them red-handed like this. Jessica broke down completely, sobbing into her hands. Nathan? The coward had the nerve to step back, like I was the problem here. I looked between them, my lips curling into a smirk. Oh, you two look like you need some alone time. I stepped out of the sauna, but before leaving, I turned back and grinned. By the way, Jess, the kids and I are checking out first thing in the morning. Enjoy the rest of your vacation with him. And with that, I walked away. The last thing I heard was Jessica screaming my name, but I didn't turn back. She made her bed. Now she could burn in it. I walked away from that sauna like a man leaving a crime scene, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my skull. I should have been shaking. I should have been breaking down. But I wasn't. Instead, a sick sense of clarity settled over me. I was done. Jessica had thrown away 10 years of marriage, a family, and everything we built together. For what? A sleazy, secret affair with my so-called best friend? She could have them. A walk back to hell. As I stormed back toward the resort villa, the neon lights from the pool area shimmered like ghosts in my vision. I barely noticed the drunken tourists laughing at the tiki bar, the waves crashing softly against the shore, the warm tropical breeze carrying the scent of salt and coconut. All of it felt fake now. The entire vacation had been a sham. My mind was racing. I needed to get to the kids. I needed to get them away from her before she filled their heads with lies. I reached the villa and threw open the door. Inside, Liam and Sophia were sitting on the couch, watching a movie on the resort's TV. They looked up at me, confused. Dad? Liam asked, blinking. What's wrong? I swallowed hard. How the hell was I supposed to explain this? Sophia rubbed her sleepy eyes. Where's Mommy? I had 2 choices. Tell them now and shatter their world. Or wait until morning and keep this nightmare from them for just a little longer. I forced a smile, even though my hands were shaking. Mommy's still at the spa, but listen, guys, I need you to pack your stuff. We're leaving first thing in the morning. Liam frowned. Leaving? But we have 3 more days. Change of plans, I said, my voice sharper than I intended. Sophia's lower lip trembled. Did I do something bad? Shit. I knelt in front of her and cupped her tiny face. No, sweetheart. You didn't do anything bad. I just think it's time for us to go home. Liam was still eyeing me suspiciously, but he nodded. Okay, Dad. Thank God my son was smart enough not to argue. I ruffled his hair, then stood up. I'm going to pack. You guys finish your movie, all right? They nodded. I turned and walked toward the master bedroom, but as soon as I shut the door, I let out a breath I didn't even realize I was holding. This is really happening. I grabbed my suitcase and started throwing my clothes inside. Then I saw it, Jessica's suitcase, half unpacked, her dresses still neatly folded inside. Something about it made me livid. I had just caught her cheating in a goddamn sauna, and yet here was her stuff, sitting in our shared space like she still had a place in my life. Without thinking, I grabbed the suitcase and dragged it to the balcony. Then I flung it over the railing. It landed with a loud thud on the grass below. Good. Let her pick up her own damn mess for once. The storm hits. I had just zipped up my bag when the door slammed open. Jessica stood there, panting, her eyes wild, still in her damp spa robe. Mark, she shrieked. What the hell is wrong with you? I turned to face her, arms crossed. Oh, I don't know, Jess. Maybe the fact that I just caught my wife screwing my best friend in a sauna? Ring any bells? She flinched. Good. You threw my stuff off the balcony? I snorted. That's what you're mad about, not the fact that you just got caught cheating. Jessica's breathing was ragged. I was going to tell you. I laughed bitterly. Oh, right. You were going to confess your mistake while your legs were wrapped around my best friend? Give me a damn break. She ran a hand through her damp hair, tears spilling down her cheeks. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I tilted my head. Oh, so how was it supposed to happen, Jess? You cheat on me for a few more years until I die of a heart attack? Or were you waiting until Nathan's wife found out and ruined the fun? Her face twisted with guilt. I never meant to hurt you. Oh, well, that makes it better, I sneered. As long as you didn't mean it, I guess my entire marriage being a lie doesn't count. She sobbed. Please, Mark, just, let's talk about this. I took a slow step forward, lowering my voice. You want to talk? Fine. Let's talk about how I'm taking the kids, and we're leaving first thing in the morning. Her eyes widened in horror. No, you can't do that. Watch me. Mark, please. She clutched my arm, her nails digging into my skin. Don't take my babies away from me. I yanked my arm free. You should have thought about that before you threw away our family. It was a mistake, she wailed. I love you. I stared at her, disgust curling in my gut. No, Jessica, you love yourself. She burst into full hysterics, sobbing so loudly that Liam and Sophia peeked out from the living room. Shit. Jessica saw them and immediately ran over, dropping to her knees in front of them. Mommy just made a mistake, babies, she sobbed, hugging them tightly. But we're still a family, okay? Liam frowned. Why are you crying? Jessica choked on a sob. Because Daddy's mad at me, but it's okay, sweetheart. Everything's going to be okay. I clenched my fists. Oh, hell no. She was already manipulating them. I stepped forward and put a hand on Liam's shoulder. Go back to your sister, buddy. I'll be there soon. He hesitated. Then, reluctantly, he took Sophia's hand and led her back into the living room. I turned back to Jessica, my voice a low growl. You don't get to play the victim here. She hiccuped on her sobs. I wasn't trying to. Bullshit. She wiped at her face. Mark, please don't take them away from me. I took a deep breath, then exhaled. ***, I won't. But I am leaving. And if you think I'm going to cover for you when we get back, you're dead wrong. Everyone, your parents, my parents, the kids, will know exactly what you did. Her face drained of color. I grabbed my suitcase, gave her one last look, and walked out. Tomorrow morning, I'd be on the first flight home with my kids. And Jessica? She could rot in paradise. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Jessica's sweaty, guilty face. The way she had clutched Nathan like a lifeline in that sauna. She had the nerve to cry, to beg, to act like she was the victim. But tomorrow, the real nightmare would begin. For her. The morning escape. At the crack of dawn, I was up, showered, and ready to get the hell out of there. I carefully packed Liam and Sophia's bags, making sure they had everything they needed. I wasn't leaving a single trace of us behind. Jessica was nowhere in sight. Good. By the time I zipped up the last suitcase, Liam and Sophia were awake, still groggy. "Why are we leaving so early?" Liam mumbled, rubbing his eyes. I forced a smile. "Change of plans, buddy. We're heading home today." Sophia yawned. "What about Mommy?" My jaw tightened. "She'll meet us later." Lie. But what else could I say? I helped them get dressed, then hurried them out the door before Jessica could even wake up. As we wheeled our suitcases down the resort's pathway toward the waiting taxi, I felt a rush of relief. We were almost free. Then, behind me, Mark. I froze mid-step. Shit, Jessica's public breakdown. I turned around slowly, already bracing myself. Jessica was sprinting toward us, barefoot, still wearing her robe, her blonde hair a tangled mess. She looked insane. "Mark, you can't take them," she shrieked, her voice echoing through the resort. Heads turned. Tourists stared. I gritted my teeth. "Lower your damn voice." She didn't listen. She grabbed Sophia's hand, yanking her away from me. "Sophia, baby, you don't want to leave, right?" she gasped between sobs. Sophia whimpered, shrinking away. I stepped forward, keeping my voice calm but firm. "Let go of her, Jess." She clutched Sophia tighter. "No, you can't just take my babies away because you're mad." People were whispering now, watching like we were some live soap opera. Jessica's chest heaved. Her eyes were wild, her lips trembling. This wasn't just desperation. It was panic. And then it hit me. She wasn't just afraid of losing the kids. She was afraid of everyone finding out the truth. That's why she was acting like this in public. That's why she was screaming for an audience. She wanted to make it look like I was the bad guy. A woman in a sun hat frowned at me. "Sir, maybe you should calm down and talk to your wife." "Oh, hell no." I turned to the woman, voice cold. "She's not my wife anymore. And do you want to know why?" Jessica's eyes widened in horror. "Mark, don't." I smirked. "Because last night, I caught her screwing my best friend in the resort sauna." Gasps. A group of tourists gawped. Someone covered their mouth in shock. Jessica went dead silent. Her fingers went limp, and Sophia ran straight back to me. The damage was done. A resort staff member whispered to another. A man in a Hawaiian shirt muttered, "Damn, that's brutal." Jessica's face turned scarlet. Her breathing came fast and shallow, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. Then, she snapped. Jessica's total meltdown. "It was a mistake," she screeched. "I didn't mean to hurt you, Mark." People winced at the volume. "I love you," she wailed, falling to her knees in the middle of the resort lobby, sobbing like a lunatic. Oh my God, this was so much worse than I thought. She wasn't just begging, she was making a scene. Tears streamed down her face. "You're my husband. We're a family. Please don't do this." A resort employee hurried over, eyes wide. Please, you need to calm down." "No." Jessica grabbed my shirt, clinging to me. "Please, Mark, please." I pried her hands off me, my voice like steel. "You should have thought of that before you spread your legs for Nathan." She let out a choked sob. People muttered around us. Some pulled out their phones. "Oh, this is going viral. Good. Let the world see her for who she really is." The final blow. The taxi driver had been watching the entire thing from the curb, eyes wide as saucers. I turned to him. "Let's go." He nodded fast. I grabbed Liam and Sophia's hands, leading them toward the car. Behind me, Jessica collapsed to the ground, shaking, crying, her voice raw. "Mark, please." I didn't look back. I loaded the kids into the taxi, my heart pounding. As we drove off, Sophia sniffled. "Mommy was really scary." I squeezed her little hand. "I know, sweetheart." Liam was quiet for a long moment. Then, he murmured, "Are we ever going to see her again?" I stared out the window. That wasn't my decision to make anymore. But one thing was certain. Jessica would never be able to lie her way out of this one. The taxi ride home was quiet. Too quiet. Sophia had fallen asleep, her tiny head resting against my arm. Liam just stared out the window, his face unreadable. And me? I wasn't thinking about the vacation from hell or the chaos at the resort. I was thinking about what came next. Jessica thought her meltdown was the worst thing that could happen to her. She had no idea what I had planned. Because this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. 48 hours later the fallout begins. I had blocked Jessica's number. I ignored every email, every social media message, every pathetic attempt to reach me. The only reason I hadn't blocked Nathan yet? Because I was waiting. Waiting to see how deep the rabbit hole went. And then, it happened. A text from Nathan. Nathan, 842 Mark, we need to talk. It's important. Nathan, 845 please. It's about Jessica. Nathan, 910 fine. I'll just tell you. She's pregnant, man. Oh, this just got interesting. I nearly laughed. Of course, she was. Of freaking course. It explained everything, why she was so panicked, why she went full-blown psycho at the airport, why she wasn't just crying, she was terrified. She was carrying Nathan's child, and now, she realized she had lost everything. I took a slow sip of coffee, staring at the message. Nathan probably thought I'd panic, or worse, be devastated, but he had no idea, because now, I had all the power, the call that changed everything. I waited before responding, let them sweat. When I finally called Nathan, he picked up on the first ring. Mark, listen, man, save it, I cut him off. So, Jessica's pregnant? A long pause. Yeah. I smirked. Congratulations. Silence. Then, a deep sigh. She told me she's not sure if it's mine or. He trailed off. Oh, this just got even better. Or what, Nathan? I asked, my voice smooth. He hesitated. Yours. Ha. I laughed out loud. You think there's a chance that kid is mine? Nathan let out a slow, defeated breath. I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe anymore. Good. Let him drown in doubt. You deserve this, I said coldly. You deserve all of it. Then, I hung up, because I wasn't done yet. The funeral of Jessica's reputation. Jessica thought she could cheat on me and walk away with just a public tantrum. Oh no, I wanted her entire world to burn. Step 1, expose her to everyone. Step 2, make sure she suffers in ways she never imagined. And step 3, take back everything. Step 1, the family bombshell. Jessica's family loved me. Her father, Richard, 65, retired military, always said, Mark's a real man, a provider, a father. We're lucky to have him. Her mother, Karen, 62, former teacher, once told me, Jessica's never deserved you, but I'm grateful you love her anyway. They had no idea what their daughter had done, so I decided to let them know. The email I sent was brutal. To Richard and Karen, subject: the truth about your daughter. Richard, Karen. I wanted to tell you this in person, but unfortunately, Jessica's actions have left me no choice. Last week, during our family vacation, I caught Jessica having an affair with my best friend Nathan, in a public sauna, while our kids were nearby. She has since tried to manipulate, lie, and guilt-trip her way out of it. I am filing for divorce, and just so you know, she's pregnant. She claims she doesn't know if the baby is mine or Nathan's. You might want to ask her about that. I wish you the best. Mark. It took 10 minutes before my phone blew up. Incoming call: Richard, dad-in-law. I let it ring. Then another. Incoming call: Karen, mom-in-law. I let that one ring, too, because now, it was Jessica's problem. Step 2, the social media destruction. Jessica was obsessed with social media. She had thousands of followers. She posted about our perfect family daily, so I made sure everyone saw the truth. I uploaded a single picture. A selfie of me and the kids at home, smiling. Caption: starting fresh. I'd rather be a great father alone than a broken husband with a cheater. #new beginnings. Then, I blocked her on every platform, and let her world collapse. Step 3, taking back everything. Jessica was screwed. She had nowhere to go, her parents were furious, Nathan wasn't stepping up, and her perfect reputation was now ashes. Then, the final blow came. She lost the house, because guess what? It was in my name. I served her with divorce papers and an eviction notice on the same day. She called me screaming. I let her go to voicemail. Then, she sent one last message. Jessica, 1159 p.m. You ruined my life. Jessica, 1200 I'm pregnant with your child. Mark. I know it. I need you. Jessica, 1205 please. Let's fix this. I love you. I smiled. Then, I sent my final message. Me, 1207 good luck proving it's mine. Also, you deserve everything that's happening to you. Enjoy your new life, Jessica. Then, I blocked her forever, because I was finally free, and I had won. I should have been done. Jessica was publicly ruined. She was pregnant, homeless, and abandoned by everyone. I had destroyed everything she once valued. But Jessica? She wasn't done. She had one last desperate plan, and she was about to make the biggest mistake of her life. 2 weeks later, the desperation begins. It started small. A private number kept calling my phone. I ignored it. Then, I got a handwritten letter in the mail. It was from Jessica. I almost threw it away, but curiosity got the best of me. I opened it. Mark, I know you hate me. I don't blame you, but I need you to listen. I made a mistake, a huge mistake, and I need you to hear the full truth before you completely erase me from your life. Please, Mark, just one conversation. That's all I'm asking. Meet me at the Belmont Cafe on Friday at 7 p.m. If you don't come, I'll understand. But please, if there's any part of you that ever loved me, just let me explain. Jessica. I stared at the letter. This was a trap. I knew it. Jessica wasn't sorry, she was desperate. So I did something unexpected. I went, because I wanted to see how far she would go. The final confrontation. Friday, 7 p.m. I walked into the Belmont Cafe, scanning the room. Then I saw her. Jessica was sitting in a corner booth, looking rough. Her hair was messy. Her eyes were puffy. She had lost weight, her cheekbones sharper than before. When she saw me, her face lit up with relief. I sat down. You have 10 minutes, I said coldly. She swallowed hard. Thank you for coming. I leaned back. Talk. She took a shaky breath. Mark, it's not Nathan's baby. I didn't react. Oh? She nodded quickly. It's yours. I'm sure of it now. I took the timing into account, and there's no way it's his. I tilted my head. You expect me to believe that? Her eyes filled with tears. It's the truth. Please, Mark. I don't want to do this alone. I chuckled. You didn't seem to mind being alone when you were screwing Nathan in that sauna. She flinched. I was stupid. I was selfish, but I never stopped loving you. And there it was. The same script cheaters always use. I made a mistake. I never stopped loving you. I need you. I leaned forward. You're out of money, aren't you? Jessica's breath hitched. That's not why I'm here. Isn't it? I said with a smirk. You lost the house. You lost Nathan. You lost your parents' support. Now, suddenly, I'm the love of your life again? She shook her head. I swear, it's not like that. Then prove it. Her eyebrows furrowed. How? I pulled out a folded document from my jacket and slid it across the table. A paternity test. Her face drained of color. What? A simple test, Jessica. If you're telling the truth, you have nothing to worry about. She hesitated. A long, painful pause. Then, her lips parted, but no words came out. I grinned. That's what I thought. I grabbed my coat, stood up, and tossed a few dollars on the table for my coffee. Enjoy your life, Jessica. Then, I walked away. And that should have been the end. But Jessica? She wasn't finished. The last, desperate move. A week passed. Then, out of nowhere, I got served. Jessica was suing me for child support, for a baby that wasn't even proven to be mine. I actually laughed. She was still trying to trap me, still trying to save herself. It was pathetic. I called my lawyer, Mr. Sullivan, 54, ruthless as hell. She's bluffing, he said after looking over the documents. There's no proof of paternity. Without that, she doesn't stand a chance. I smirked. Then let's end this. The courtroom showdown. The day of the hearing, Jessica walked in looking fragile and innocent. She wore a loose dress to emphasize her pregnancy. She was playing the victim. Her lawyer stood up. Your Honor, my client is struggling. She has no income, no home, and a baby on the way. The defendant, Mark, is the presumed father, and as such, has a duty to provide. I leaned over to Mr. Sullivan. Do it. He stood up. Your Honor, we demand a paternity test before discussing any financial obligations. The judge nodded. That's fair. Miss Carter, will you agree to this test? Jessica's lawyer turned to her. And Jessica? She looked trapped. She hesitated. Then, finally, she shook her head. The courtroom went silent. The judge frowned. Miss Carter, if you refuse a paternity test, this case cannot proceed. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. Your Honor, case dismissed. Boom. Just like that, she lost. I stood up, buttoned my suit jacket, and walked out victorious. And Jessica? She just sat there, completely destroyed. She had lost everything. The aftermath, the final message. A month later, I got one last text. Jessica, 1158 p.m. I hate you. Jessica, 1159 p.m. I hope you never find happiness. Jessica, 1200 goodbye, Mark. And that was it. I never heard from her again. Nathan? Vanished. Her parents? Cut her off completely. And me? I finally had peace. Because in the end, I won.